there. Okay, and so the reason I've mostly been talking about these crypto bots is because, as I've already mentioned, it's basically risk-free trading because it's spot trading, so there's no leverage. And as long as you're trading pairs that you're willing to hold anyway, there's no more risk. I wouldn't say it's risk-free, but there's no more risk than if you're just holding those coins anyway. And so just to give you the quick recap in case you haven't seen this yet, is this one here, like each one of these is a pair that's got the software just doing everything on it for me. This one's been running for 19 and a half days. It's averaged 0.66% profit per day. So a total of 12.63%, which was $97. So, that's pretty self-explanatory. Where's my calculator? I probably shouldn't need it, but 0.66 per day by 7 days, that's, over 4.5% a week. Fully automatic, extremely easy to set up, and in my opinion, close enough to risk-free. It doesn't get much better than that. I mean, you can't, if you've got something where if you're making that much money, if I was making that much money off Gearbox, which I'm not, I'd be more than happy. Even though Gearbox is entailing more risk because it's fairly high leverage. This I'm making even more out of, and I'm calling it basically risk-free. So that's why I like it. But I've already made a video on that and talked about it. What I've just started doing today, though, is they also have what they call a combo bot, which is just designed to trade Binance futures. So not risk-free, because this is now talking about leverage trading. But just to show you how it works, I just started this one up yesterday afternoon. And it works pretty much the same as the others. But when I started it, so this dotted line here is where my trade is. Okay, so if the market goes above it, because it's a long order, the market goes above it, I'm in profit, goes below it, I'm in drawdown. So it started with the trade about here. Right about here, I placed the trades when I started it. As the market moves down and hits these green lines, they're buy limit orders. So as it comes down, it's done a buy order, a buy order, buy order, buy order. But what happens on futures is it doesn't give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate trades. It just places it where the average is. So you end up with the one position still, but every time, so the trade line, the position was here, but as it kept buying this one, bought here, bought here, bought here, the average of it brought the market, my trade position right down to here. So it gives me a much better entry point. And then every time it comes up and hits a red line, it sells a small portion of that trade. Just, just like on Forex, you can close part of a trade, closing part of your position with crypto. So you're locking in and realizing a bit of profit every time it hits a red line. So if we have a look, as I said, when I started this bot, or when I started this trade, my trade entry was here. The market now is here. Where is it? The market's right here. So well below my entry point. So if I'd have just placed a trade myself, placed a stop loss, placed a take profit up here somewhere, this trade, it varied a bit, went into drawdown, back to even, drawdown, spiked up quickly into profit, but that was pretty quick, and back down here into drawdown, and I'd still be in drawdown. Did everybody follow that?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. I'm actually in $65 profit, even though the market is still below where I started, because the bots, done little buy orders here to make it a better position, and then it's also closed some out whenever it's moved up. So instead of being, I would have been in $40 or $50 drawdown still. Instead, I'm in $68 profit. When the market spiked up to here, I was in about $200 profit. I was tempted to close it out, but because this is important. This is on $1,050. So I've got 1,050 USDT in there. I'm trading Link. So when the market spiked up to here early this morning, that put this trade in 20% profit. So $200. So that was pretty good. And I was tempted to close it and just take that profit. But more than money, I wanted to just see how the bot operated and see how it worked and everything. So I think it's pretty good that, I'm still below my original entry point, but instead of being in drawdown, I'm in profit. As I said, you can have leverage between 2 and 10 times leverage. I'm actually on 10 times leverage. I didn't mean to do that. I was just a bit keen and started it. I could have stopped it, but I thought, no, well, I'll leave it on 10 times, but I'll keep a bit of a close eye on it all. Now, as I said, it's not risk-free because it's leverage trading. If the market was to dump really far down on you, you could lose your money. Same as any trading. Yeah, obviously, there is a stop loss function as well. So let me scroll and zoom in a bit. Okay, so there is a stop loss function here. This line here is the liquidation level, but if the market, that's the current liquidation level. As the market moves down and it keeps doing buy orders on each of these green limit orders, that's going to move the trade line down further, which will also move the liquidation line down further. So, I wouldn't actually get liquidated here, it'd be further down, but I do have my stop loss here. And if I want to, I can just move my stop loss to there. So that's actually changed it now. So if the market does drop to here, as you can see, it's changed that stop loss. So now I've protected it there. So if the market was to go up higher, I could just drag my stop loss up above my entry point. Then it would be a risk-free trade, just like we all know and love with other trading. And this bot's designed, you could just run it, indefinitely. It's going to keep, every time it hits a red line, it's going to take a little bit of profit, and then it's going to, do some buy orders as it moves down. But I have chosen to put a stop loss right here, which just for the traders is, it's just below this high point here. So a normal good place to put a stop loss really. But if the market moves up and I hit this take profit, it will probably be about 100% profit. So if it gets up to there, and there's every reason to think that it would, then that'd be $1,000 profit for me. And as I said, it's only been running for 1 day and 9 hours. So even 6.4%, I mean $64. Well, yeah, sorry, that's 6.6% profit. Well, there it's written there anyway. So that's there's not much has happened. As you can see, the market has stayed pretty static. That was a nice spike up, and I could have taken big profit there, but I didn't. But other than that, the market's been very, very restrained. It's been very consolidating. It's been just ranging in a very tight band. But the bot still managed to take, 6.8% profit in that time. So that's quite remarkable, I reckon, anyway. But,
is that separate, Les, to the other bot, or is this part of the other bot?
Yeah, no, this is all part of BitsGap, which it's the bots, but the other bots are just being used for spot trading. They've got three different types of bots. 2 are for spot trading, and this one's for futures trading.
And so is the futures trading bot a separate cost every month?
No, you can use it. So the cost structure is if you want to trade 2 pairs, it's $19 a month. If you want to trade 5 pairs, it's $40 a month, $44 a month, I think. But you could trade, if you've got 5, you could trade, 3 pairs on spot and two pairs on futures.
Okay.
Chop and change them however you like. You just have access to it all, but only ever 5 pairs at once. They also have a heap of other things like arbitrage trading. You have to connect multiple different exchanges to it for that to work there. You can, I can click on the trading here, and this just looks like being on Binance now, and I have my Binance account linked to it. So I can just come down here, I can do buys, I can do sells, which will do buys and sells on Binance. but I'm doing it all just from this one interface. They have signals too. I haven't really looked into them, and it's all part of the cost. So that's another big thing, like it's $19 a month. We're used to paying a lot more than $19 a month for our trading tools. So that's very, very cheap, especially if you want to try it. They do have a demo mode too, so you can try it with demo. But if you're just going to do spot trading, don't bother with demo because there's no risk. I'm happy to say there's no real risk as long as you're trading pairs you're willing to hold anyway. So you can't lose out there. But these ones are good. I mean, I just wanted to show futures because I wanted to have a look at it. I would say if you're going to trade futures bot with the futures bot, you want to have some trading knowledge up your sleeve because you wouldn't want to start the bot right at a peak because it could well dump and you could lose your money. You still want to pick your entry point, or when you start the software, you want to pick that with a bit of knowledge, not just guessing. But with the spot bots, as I like to call them, you just kick them off whenever you want. There's no real risk. So, I mean, you can use a bit of knowledge to improve on it, but these ones here, I haven't done anything with them. I just turned them on, and it's made, as I said, over 4.5% profit per week, and it's coming up on 3 weeks that one now, and it's still keeping that average nicely.
So what have you made overall, roughly, Les, on those 5 pairs in a week? These, what would you be making? Roughly.
I could probably work it out, but at the moment, these 5 pairs have made $223. But that's because this one here is a smaller one. It's only got $900 in it. These ones are bigger ones. This is only a little one. But if I, so I'm sort of averaging, it's hard to say because they've all started at different times. But what I can do is you can do the calculations yourself if you want, but I've already done it. If you take all the averages, I was making the other day when I added it up and nothing much has changed, I was making 0.55% on average per day.
Per day, wow.
Per day, like this one's only averaged 0.25. This one's averaged 0.76. So, but the average of them all was a bit over 0.5%. So per week, that's 3.85. And let's say if you had $10,000 in there, you'd be making $385 a week, so that's, we're used to talking percentages. So I'm making, as I said, the average there at the moment was just 3.85 per week. This particular pair is, it was 4.6, and this one's even higher. But I've just been playing around, finding out which ones work the best and everything. But yeah, tonight I just wanted to just do that little recording on the futures one because I hadn't played with it before. I hadn't had a look, and now I've had a chance to do it.
Thank you.
It seems to be going up now. Let's have a quick look at the futures before I turn the recording off. We're up, when I started, what did I say? We're at $60 profit, was it? I forget what it was now, but now we're up to $81 profit just because it's moved up that little bit. But yeah. Anything in that was confusing? Makes sense?
No. The cost structure that you talked about, you said you could have 5 pairs. So that's what you've got on the spot bots from the look of it. Then you'd have to pay some more to have a futures bot working, would you? You've got one in there.
It would.
Or I could just, $19.
Well, I've got the higher one, so I pay $110 a month to access 15 pairs.
Oh, okay. So you're using 6 pairs at the minute, in effect, across
at the moment. I only just
upgraded
to the higher one just last night,
right?
Just so I could start the futures bot. But I could have.
Got you.
I mean, this one's only got $480 in it. It hasn't made a lot of profit, but it's part of my learning process because this is the USDT pair, which I haven't played with yet. So I just wanted to. So I didn't really want to stop it. So I just upgraded because I'm going to use more anyway. Because especially on the spot trading, I might as well have I'm going to be holding crypto anyway. Everyone knows I hold crypto. So I might as well have it in here, making 3-point-something% profit per week.
That's right.
So I've got another video where I sort of explain why it's risk-free, but the worst case scenario on this one, if the market was to go up really high, I'd end up with all Bitcoin and no Cardano. If the market was to dump, I'd end up with all Cardano and no Bitcoin. Now, I'm willing to hold Cardano, and I am holding Cardano. I am holding Bitcoin. So I want to hold them both long term. So if it's out like this isn't all of my holdings, so just $900 worth. But if at some stage during the long term they want to hold them, if at some stage it's all Bitcoin and then at other stage it's all Cardano, I'm okay with that, you know. So that's why I call it risk-free, because I can't lose my crypto. It may be more Bitcoin and more Cardano at one time or another, but I'm never going to have less crypto, and then I'm going to make profit as I go along. And just like holding crypto, if I want to liquidate it, sell it, and sort of get some profit out of it, you obviously, if you're holding crypto, you wait for the right time when the value is high, and that's when you sell it. It's the same here. It's got nothing to do with the value of crypto. It's just all about increasing how much Bitcoin I own. And then, you know, when I feel the time's right, that's when I could sell it and realize those profits. No different to holding. So no more risk than holding.
And that trading window that you just showed us, that doesn't cost you anything as such. That's just a window on the world of Binance instead of having to flick into a different API or something. Yeah.
Yep. So you can get access. This is all the BitsGap site. So you can get access to BitsGap free of charge, but you can't do anything. Then for $19 a month, you can have the two bots running, and you'll also have access to the trading window. And if you've got your exchange account linked like I have, you can place trades on Binance just through here as well. So you can just do that. That doesn't cost you anything.
But you could have like a $19 subscription paid each month and be having a spot bot on one pair, and then have a futures bot with your other pair if you wanted to. Yeah,
you could. Yes, definitely could.
Cool.
And if you have I mean, I know I already recorded this, but the strategy is very, very simple, but it's something you just simply couldn't do. It's a grid strategy if anyone wants to have a look at it. It's not a new strategy, very basic, but you simply couldn't do it manually. Why? Because this one, it's been running 19 days, but it's executed 6,258 trades in that time. So good luck to you if you want to do it manually. But, you know,
can you just show us that? Can you just show that futures bot? You know, you said you've only got one trade on, so you've got one trade, and when you show the diagram of the trades, it's not selling as such. It's just what's it? I can't quite comprehend what it's doing.
Futures works a bit different. Like you're used to an MT4 platform where you can have multiple buy orders, multiple sell orders all on the one chart at once. With futures, you can't. You can only ever have one position. But if the market dropped right down to here and I took out another position the same size, it would move that line to directly between the two. So it would take the average and place my position there. It's essentially the same thing, but displayed differently. And then say as the market's moving down, it's taking out, it's adding to the position, which also moves the position down further. So like in a buy and a long position, the further down it is, the better that position is. And then as it moves up, instead of waiting for it to hit, you can, all of these red ones, you can just think about them as a whole heap of take profit lines. So whenever it hits it, it's taking a little bit, taking a bit of profit, taking a bit of profit, et cetera, et cetera. And then as the market comes down again, it'll start opening up those positions again, ready to hit the take profits again. But then I also have, I have the main take profit here as well. So if the market does hit this one, it's going to close all the orders, all the open orders, all the limit orders. It's going to close them and shut up shop and give me a big thumbs up.
But the trade that you took out, if it was say like a buy, it's always going to be doing stuff in that direction of trading. It's not suddenly thinking, so I need to sell now when it's really high, like when it was high up on that red spot up there.
It doesn't do that.
It doesn't take a sell or anything. No,
it's very basic. It's just very handy. Like, so when you start this bot, you're going to tell it, you're either going to do a long or you're going to do a short.
Yeah.
You can also dictate how many funds you put into it, how far apart these limit orders are, which is sort of these settings here, but that's all there is as far as settings go.
But how does it know, Les, how to not take all of your, so if it keeps on placing multiple buys in effect, how did you ring fence how much of your account it needs to use, or could it use all of it?
It's isolated trading too still, but so, you know, I've allocated how many funds I have to it.
Right, okay.
Which is that there. So that's, if it opened up all of those, if it came all the way down to here, I know the stop loss is there, but if it wasn't, opened up all of those green limit buy orders, then it will have used all the funds that I've given it. Right,
okay. So you put aside, you know, like a
and that's just here. So this is the funds I have available in my Binance futures at the moment. So if I wanted to start a new one now, you know, I just choose what percentage of that I wanted.
And would that affect the trade that's already in place if you now put another one up?
No, that's just, you need extra
right. So you're
funds
ring fencing another bit of your available balance. I've got you. Okay. Yeah.
So you'd have to either have, you'd have to have more funds in there or add more funds to do it. But
I've got you. Yeah.
So that's what I mean. You still need to know a bit about trading. And so for me, you know, my stop loss here, it's just below most recent market structure. So I'm betting on the fact that, you know, that's not going to go any lower, that it's going to go up. And while it's been just consolidating here and thinking about what it's doing, I've still clocked up $70 profit.
Yeah.
Whereas if it had just been a single manual trade, I would have made nothing and still been a little bit of drawdown. So, I mean, if the market just dumps now, then, you know, that's not going to look or sound as good as what I've just said. But as I said, it was when the market just reached here, that was 20% profit, you know, so I was up a couple of $100. So, and I could have closed that then and been very, very happy. But
you don't,
wanted to watch what it did.
You can manually override it. You could have taken it, but you have to take the whole trade. You can't do like you could in, say, MT4 trading, where you could reduce your lot size and take portion.
No, well, you could. You'd have to jump onto Binance, because this is all just mirrored onto Binance. You could jump onto Binance and you could you could cancel all the limit orders. So you still had this one going, and then you could just sell some of it to reduce your position. You could do that. It'd be a little messing around. But
you're on Binance to do that bit if you wanted to.
You'd have to jump back to Binance to do that. So all the options you've got here is I can just click this button here, stop the bot, which would mean it would sell the position it has and cancel all the pending orders.
Got you. So the futures bot and the spot bots all work off Binance as well. It's like a window onto.
No, it works off whichever exchange you want to link to BitScout.
Oh, got you.
If we have a look here, my exchanges, I've got Binance, Binance futures. Well, that's the one, but it's sort of separate. And I've also got my AKEX exchange linked to it as well.
Got you.
But the futures bot, the combo bot, only works on Binance futures.
Right. Got you.
But anyway, that's all I know.
Good.
It's good.
I'm still using Gearbox, but this is making me more, not this one, the spot bots. It's making me more profit, and it's doing it with basically no risk. So this is just sort of where I'm at the moment myself. I'm just feeling this is a lot less risk, you know, even if it was less money, it's probably still preferable because it's less risk, you know, really for something to be long-term, to really change your finances. It doesn't need to make you a fortune each week. It just needs to be going to be reliable and safe for a long term, and you still get there. Unless you're old, I know, Rod, I got you. All right, that's good enough for a recording. I'm going to stop.